Hey everybody, it's me, Stacey, licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations, here with today's Take Two Tuesday event. Welcome everybody, welcome retailers, welcome makers, welcome all of you. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I love my Tuesdays. I do. Yes, some of it has to do with the fact that I get to play with my own designs, absolutely. But this is where I just get to be free with what I do and show you how to use some of the products that are either just launching from these wonderful companies or products that I've already brought to market. Now, my next collection launches July 1st. So if you are a retailer out there, hello all you retailers, all of you, hello. By all means, get a hold of Sizzix. Yes, get a hold of Sizzix and say, oh my gosh, I didn't know Stacey had a collection that's launching July 1st. We need it. You do, because these Take Two Tuesdays are meant to help drive business right to your front doors, which is why we have two independent retailers listed under the description of this video. So if you go look under the description, I always try to post two independent retailers that carry my brand. And gosh, if you're a maker out there, of course this video is for you too. Hello. But for you makers out there, this is an opportunity for not only you to see the latest and greatest that's coming from Sizzix and Jacquard and Couture Creations, but maybe to find a retailer you didn't know about. Now, I know there are oodles of retailers out there, and they can't carry absolutely everything that comes on the market. I know, it's just not possible. So, if this is something you like and you are a maker and you do have a local retailer, by all means, ask them to special order it for you. I'm sure that they will. And being that it is launching July 1st and it is my nod to Christmas release, I think you're gonna love everything about it. I have definitely got some very specific Christmas designs, but I've also got so many of the designs that can be used all year round. A nod to Christmas. But today we are diving right into the holidays. I have got a 4-layering stencil that I cannot wait to show you. And it pairs with my next fanciful framelit, my triangles, and those triangles pair with a lot of items that go with my July collection. It's all meant to work together. It's all meant to tie in. It's all meant to give you the opportunity as a retailer to show your customers you can do this, and then you can do this, and then you can do that. And then makers go home and they do this, and then they do this, and then they do that. And it just feels so good to be creative and look down at your makes and say, oh my gosh, I love that. And then come back a month later and use the same product to make something completely different. So today it is my July collection launching July 1st globally. I'm gonna tilt down. We're gonna get started for today. I am gonna show you the 2 SKUs that I am using for today, and we are gonna have oodles of fun. Thank you for being here with me. For those of you who are new, I'm Stacey, and I'm just thrilled to have you here. If you are joining me during the premiere, you're gonna live chat. There's a live chat right over there. Right over there. Just type in hello, hello, and we all will say hello, hello back to you. Are you ready? Let me put on my trusty dusty glasses, and we're gonna get started for today. It is good to see you. Down I go. Okay, so let's zoom on in. So zoom, zoom, zoom. I am my own camera person here. We are not very high tech, but we get the job done. And I think that is about every independent retailer out there. We're not high tech, but we get the job done. All right, so here is one of the SKUs I'm gonna be playing with today. It is my Cosmopolitan Happy Holidays. It is a 4-layer stencil, and there are sentiments included on the stencils because, well, I had room. So I'm gonna be using this today, but I'm gonna be adding to it my next set of Fanciful Framelits. These are my triangles, and I love my triangles. So these are Patti's perfect triangles, and you can see that there is an embossed element on each one of them. That's because my Fanciful Framelits are designed in a way that no other die is. You have a die that cuts, but then you have an embossing element. But then you have a die that cuts, but then an embossing element. Typically, when you have a die that has an embossing or a stitched element or a dotty element, it is built into the main die. I kept them separate, so you could use the die all on its own. You could use the die with the embossing element. You could use the embossing element all on its own. And because I had room on my template, I added extra things. I mean, I just wanted to take up the room as best as I possibly could. Even just an embossed bar element down there to add a border. Now, the embossing element will let you letterpress, it'll let you emboss, it'll let you deboss, it will let you foil. So if you have a foiling machine, holy smokes artichokes. And I do have samples to show you later on. So these are the two SKUs that I'm going to be using for today. The triangles are 666, 699, and the layering stencil is 666, 693. Part of my July collection that launches globally July 1st. Now let's get into it. So I already showed you one sample. So cute. And yes, the Merry Christmas comes with it. I'll show you. But just a darling, easy peasy make to do. I'm going to start with the layering stencils. And there are 4 of them. The 4 then make up the final image. And you can see that I do have, grab a piece of paper, I do have sentiments that I've added along the side. Now those sentiments don't have to go along the side of your card. In fact, you can just stencil a bunch of these sentiments onto paper and cut them out, and you will see we have done that, right? Yes, we have done that to make I've already pre-done a bunch of sentiments, so I can just grab them and put them on my cards. This one says everything merry and bright. This one says from my family to yours, but it also says from our family to yours. Because sometimes you need a from my family, and sometimes you need a from our family. So I've given you both of those. Here we have happy holidays. And last but not least, Merry Christmas. And again, you could be stenciling these and putting these on paper and matting them and using them on a card that has nothing to do with the layering stencil at all. Now you notice that the Sizzix stencils have holes at the top. They have 2 holes at the top, and that's because they are meant to go with their stencil and stamp tool, which I have right here. This is the platform that allows you to do layering stencils and align it up perfectly, but it also is a stamp positioner. So the lid, when you have the lid on, you're using it as a stamp positioner, and you don't need the alignment tool. This is the stencil alignment tool. And when the lid is off, and look at how easy it comes off, bam. I had somebody here yesterday who was playing with this, and they wanted to, like, they grabbed their hand like they were gonna have to pull it off. And I said, no, just lift. And she was like, oh my gosh, because if you have any trouble with your hands at all, they've made it so easy. No pulling, no tugging, no clicking, on and off. So with the lid on, stamp positioner. With the lid off, stenciling tool. Now this is the alignment tool, and this tool is meant to go across the lid here. These little holes correspond to our plastic hinges here, whatever, the little pieces that hold the lid in, and they just fit right in. So you're able to move this positioner anywhere you want, anywhere on your platform, which means that your stencil can be anywhere on your paper. There is no lip on any of the sides, so you can use any size paper you want. And the beautiful thing about it is, one, if you're doing a repetitive stencil, you're able to just lift and move and lift and move and lift and move to get the entire detail. And also, if when you are stenciling, you can pull this up, look at what you've done to see if you like it or not without having to retape anything down or magnetize anything. Now, sticky grid comes with it, and this is a sheet of sticky grid. You will see mine is very used and very well loved, but it is still sticking. So as long as it continues to stick, I'm going to use it. And sticky grid is what holds down your paper. Bam, see my paper, it's not moving. That's what sticky grid does. Now once, and then you just peel it right up. Once my sticky grid stops sticking, I just pull it right off. It's replaceable. Sizzix sells it in packs of 5 sheets, and it's very affordable. Now, for those of you who are saying, oh my gosh, I would love to have a tool that lines up my stencils perfectly, but my stencils all don't have holes in them. That's okay too. Sizzix is taking care of that for you as well. They sell converters, and boy, retailers, you really want to have these converters. If you have this, for every one of these, you should have like 5 sets of converters, because there's so many stencils out there on the market that people already own. And if they can take their stencil, let's pretend this is somebody else's stencil, and they put the converter on top. It's just a piece of plastic that has some adhesive on it, and then it has the 2 holes that allows you to use this tool again and again, and then you can pop that converter off and put it onto a different stencil. They're really useful and they're really economical, and you get 10 per pack. I know some people will put the converters on their stencils and never take them off. Once they've got them on, they'll put 1 on each stencil, and others will buy 2 or 3 packs and they'll just mix and match as they're doing them. If the sticky ever stops sticking because it does have adhesive on it, you're just gonna take a piece of double stick tape and add that to the back. So if you're worried that all of your stencils don't have holes in them, and I don't want you to put holes in them, don't go get a hole puncher, because the nibs on this alignment tool are very specific, and just getting a hole puncher is not going to remedy the problem. Now, how to use this, it's so simple. I usually always start at the top, and I always start in the middle. I'm a creature of habit, I think. I'm going to grab some of my Sizzix super smooth white paper, and I'm just going to cut me up some, so I have. So, put my paper right on down, and I tend to align it up right below the alignment tool. And you're like, but why does it align? What do you mean alignment tool? Let me show you. I'm going to start with my stencil number 1. Now with Sizzix, they always put the name at the top, they put the SKU number at the top, and then they put the position of the stencil. 1, next one, 2, 3, and 4. So you always know. It's nice that if you have a bunch of stencils out, with the SKU right there, right on the top, you're able to make sure that you have all your stencils back in order. And again, with the position, it's nice to know what order you're supposed to go in. So I always start with my number 1, and I'm gonna pop it right down. Bam, bam. Kind of clicks into place, you push it down, give a nice press. Now I have got everything merry and bright right here, right there on the side. And I want to be careful that I don't stencil that at the same time, unless I want everything merry and bright going down the side of my card, but I might not. So I'm going to take a little bit of Sizzix Maker's Tape, and I'm just going to cover it up. Now Maker's Tape is kind of a Post-it note feel to it. The thing I like about it is that it stays tacky like the sticky grid for quite some time. So I can pull this off and put it back down, and pull it off and put it back down. So I like that about that. Now I've got my stencil here that I'm ready to go, and I've got my star. I can either mask off my star or just be a little careful when I'm doing it. I think I'm going to start with, let's see, what color do I want to start with? I think I'm going to start with my green. So I have a little bit of a blending tool over here. I am using my Jacquard premium dye-based inks. They are water soluble, they are blendable. These are not like everybody else's inks. In fact, I'm going to do a few videos to explain why they are different, because everybody's inks are formulated differently. This is a dye-based ink, so it is meant to go on porous paper, and the blendability, the water reactiveness, but really the stamping ability too. They're just lovely. So today I'm going to be blending with them, and I put a little blending tool over here. These inks are so heavily saturated that I don't do a color family. I don't have a light, a medium, and a dark. I can achieve all of that with one color ink. I don't need to do anything more than that. And I think I'm going to show you a little bit of that right now. So I'm going to just tap off a little bit, and I can come in here and I can start laying some of my color down. So I'm going to go super light. Super light. And now this is where the beautiful thing of this tool happens. I can lift up my alignment tool and look at what I've done and see, am I happy with this? And then I can put it right back down where it was, and it realigns my stencil perfect every time. So I might just go in and do maybe a little darker. Just kind of towards the tops. All right, that one's done. I'm gonna be good there. I'm gonna be happy with that. Put it back down. Oh, I guess I can do let's do my star too. So let's go into my yellow. And there we go, fully saturated yellow star. Now I take this off, pops right off. The ink cleans up with a baby wipe because it is water soluble. Simple baby wipe, you don't have to do anything more than that. Simple baby wipe. And we're good to go. And then I bring over stencil number 2. And stencil number 2 is going to lay right on top. Now I have got a sentiment on stencil number 2. From my family to yours, or from our family to yours. And I don't want that to interfere. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to mask it off. Now there was room on the stencils. That's why I added the extra text, because I had space, and I thought, wouldn't it be nice if you had one product that gave you not only the design, but the sentiment as well? So if this is the one Stacey Park Sizzix product that you love, 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 all you have to do is add ink and paper. Everything else is there for you. You don't have to go find a sentiment to finish it out. It's there for you. So I'm just going to take it, mask it off with my maker's tape, put down my stencil, and you always want that Sizzix logo facing you. You should be able to feel it, and it's going to line up perfect all over again. And now here, I'll go a little bit light as well. So I haven't changed my color. I'm just using it in a very light way. I'm desaturating the color because the ink is so pigmented, so saturated in color. It gives you an entire gradation of color with just one ink pad. When I decided to do inks, there was the question of, well, how do you want to get your inks done? Do you want 1,000,000 colors? And I'm like, no, I really don't. I want an ink pad that's going to do amazing things and give amazing quality without having to have 60 ink pads or 70 ink pads or 80 ink pads in my collection. To me, that just seemed excessive. But that's me. So I wanted to put together a collection where you can mix and you can match one ink pad giving you so many different colors. It really is all about how dark you want to make it. Versus how light do you want to take it down to. These inks will just desaturate into nothing. Love it. Soft, sweet. I mean, just soft and sweet. So I've got my second layer done, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. And now I can come back with my third layer. And here I think I'm going to, I've got Happy Holidays, so I know I need to mask that off. I can just layer this right on top as long as I have put my alignment tool right back in the same holes I started with. Of course, if I take it down too far, that's not going to layer up. I'm off the page. Look at my paper stops there and I'm all the way down here. Or if I've got it all the way to one side, that's not going to layer up. You just have to remember where you started. And if you forgot where you started, you just have to move it around until it's like, oh, there it is, like magic. This makes layering stencils, or stenciling in general, so easy peasy. Now I'm gonna step away from my green and I'm gonna go into my yellow. And you're like, yellow? Yes, I'm gonna step into my yellow. And I'm going to add some yellow. Hello, yellow. Now these are holly leaves that I'm doing, and you're like, yellow? Oh, I forgot to mask off. Can't do that. I don't want to accidentally get that on my paper. You're like, really, yellow, Stacey? I'm like, yeah. We're gonna play with a little bit of yellow. I love yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. Because it just goes with everything. You can use yellow with cools, with your greens and your blues, but you can also use yellow with your warms, your reds and your oranges, and it plays well in everybody's sandbox. Except for maybe purple. Purple doesn't necessarily go great with yellow sometimes when you're blending them. They look okay together side by side, but blending them, you got to be careful when you're doing purple and yellow. That's the only one I found that's like, meh. Okay, so I've got a little bit of yellow, and I've got the top of my star here to do. So I'm going to keep that one very light too, because I did that first star very dark. Okay, so I can see what I've got. Ta-da! Let me zoom on in so you can see. Ta-da! Yellow. Now I'm going to put my stencil right back down. And I'm gonna grab my green. Hello, green. And I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna add some green to my yellow. You're like, really? Yes. Put my blending mat over here. Little bit of green to my yellow. I'm just letting it blend all by itself. I'm not giving it too much thought. Just kind of letting it be. And then I can lift up. And now I've got my holly leaves. That's stencil number 3. Stencil number 4. So I'm starting out super easy. The next one we're gonna do, we're gonna go a little crazy. Wahoo Kachoo, love the crazy. Stencil number 4, My last layering stencil, it has Merry Christmas on it. I just want to mask that off. And then we'll go in and we'll add our pop of color in the red. Pop of color. So I'm using my Red Delish, my Red Delicious. And I'm going to go in there and I want deep, dark, beautiful. And just get them lovely and saturated. And lift up. Now I can be done, or I can go back in and on those holly leaves where the vines are, if I don't want them to be red, I can certainly come in with another color. I've got my brown here, and I can add a little bit of brown over some of those. The vines down the center of my holly leaves. And just layer in just a little bit of brown if I don't want it to be my red. And change it up a little bit. So easy peasy mac and cheesy. I mean, it really is just that simple. This stencil is so much fun to use because there's so many different ways of using it. So I'm going to put that one here. I'm going to bring back my stencils. I'm going to wipe them down, and we're going to change up the color combination. Let's give a nice wipe just with a baby wipe. I'm going to leave my masks where they are. So this is stencil number 4, and this one's number 3. Number 2, and number 1. And we're going to go at it one more time, only using a different color combination. So start with stencil number 1. And I think I'm going to do, maybe I'll do some teal. Yeah, maybe I'll do some teal. So let's grab my teal and go in and add a little bit of my teal color. You're like, teal? I'm like, yeah, let's go a little untraditional. A little bit of teal. I think I'm even going to do a teal star. So this is my teal deal. And done. Lift it up, and there's my color. Put it back down. Pop off. Go to stencil number 2. Now here I'm going to use the same color, but I'm going to go darker. Look at that color. I'm going to go way darker. Take a look at it. Yep, done. Fab. Put it back on. Pop it off. Go to stencil number 3. Put it on. Now I'm going to change my color, and I think I'm going to do blue. So let's grab my blue. So a very untraditional Christmas tree. But look at that blue color, and I'm trying to get nice saturation. And I might do yellow around my star because I've got a little bit of a star up here where it's got some shine bright. I might just, some little extra openings, I might just add a little bit of my yellow. Okay, so let's see what we've got. Ooh, I like the blue. The blue is definitely a pop. And now I can come in, pop that off, and put stencil number 4. These are fast. They're bing, bang, boom fast. Bing, bang, boom. That's how fast it is to create with this stencil. And let's go in and let's add my red. All the way around. So don't be afraid of using different colors than you think are traditional, or maybe that is who you are. Maybe you never use traditional colors. That's what this stencil is meant to do. It's to give you the option of either like jazzing it up or keeping it very straightforward. Isn't it nice to know that you can do one card one way and the very next card completely different? The way these layer up give you the option. Look at how cute is that? Gives you the option to do so many different things. Right? Now the last one I'm going to do, and then we're going to start die cutting. The last one I'm going to do, I'm going to go way outside the box because it's only paper. I'm just using paper and ink. So there's nothing to be afraid of. You can try different color combinations on just some scratch paper until you find the ones that make your heart happy, and then write those combinations down so you can come back to them at a later time if you want to replicate something. It's just paper and ink, and nobody's afraid of some white paper. Oh no, we're ready to go. Bring it on. We can do this. Even if this is your first time crafting ever. White paper, a couple inks. You don't have to have the whole spectrum of inks because you saw how I can take one color and make it many shades. So maybe you start with a green and a red and a blue ink. Maybe that's where you start, or a green, a red, a yellow. Just a few that give you the saturation you need to tone it down. And not every ink can do that. They're not all that saturated in color. Yummy. Okay, so I'm gonna go dramatically different this time. Way different, like totally out of the box. Like, what? There's a box? I don't think there's a box. I agree. Forget there's a box. Pull out what you have and play. My paper is down. My stencil number 1 is in. I've got I'm gonna wipe this down. I've got my little blending mat here. And let's play. I'm going to start with black. You're like, wait, what? I'm going to start with black. And this is black. hold. I mean, it is a black, but can you see how it can tone out to so many different shades of gray? Look at that. I can keep it as intense as I want in the center, but I can tone it out to where I have such fine shades of gray. All right, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna tap off almost all of it because I want this to be a very light shade of gray. Now I may do grays in the future, it's possible, but it would be in a different hue or a different tone, so maybe more of a brown or a little bit more of a blue gray. We'll have to see. But right now I have Carbon Copy as my black, and I can achieve so much from that. So simple, easy. I'm not even going to worry about my star right now. Lift it up, and I've got a soft gray going on. Stencil number 2. Bring it down, and I'm going to finish in that same kind of soft gray, maybe even a little softer, maybe even a little lighter than what I had just done. So I didn't add any more color. I've got plenty of color, and if I needed to, I could pull up from my blending mat. That's the difference about blending it onto a blending mat versus paper. Once you tap off onto paper, you're done. You can't grab that color again. But my blending mat will let me go in there and pick up some of that color. Of course, I don't want it, but I'm gonna tap it off. And just very soft, light gray. There we go. So there's my background. Now we're going to move to stencil number 3. And I'm going to go in there, and I think I'm going to use blue. Light or dark? Let's go light. Super light in my blue. See me tapping off? And I am going to mask off my star because I didn't use my star on this one. And let's just go in here and very soft. Very soft. So when you want depth and dimension, that's where the Stacey Park Jacquard inks come in. When you're looking for that depth and dimension, very soft. Oh, look at how pretty that is. I'm doing a winter one, yay! Now I'm gonna pop off number 3 and put on number 4, and we're just gonna bam it with that blue. Bam! We're just gonna make magic happen. I want that deep, dark saturation. You're gonna see how light that is, how light the blue is comparative to how deep and wonderful and dark this is. And yet I didn't change my ink. I used the same color, and I'm pulling up all my ink off the side. I was always told waste not, want not. So pull my ink back up. And now, as opposed to a holiday, I've got a winter wonderland. Now you see I'm holding my stencil down. This is a positioner. It allows you to lift up, look, say, are you happy? Put it back down, fix it if you need more color somewhere, and it aligns it up beautifully, but it's not I'm going to hold your stencil in the exact place it is so that it doesn't buckle. No, it still can buckle if you don't have your hands on it. You're always going to have your hands on your stencil. Even if you were using tape or magnets, you would still have your hands on your stencil. And look at that one. Love it. My winter wonderland. I think I'm gonna do one more. You're like, really? Yes, because this is my playtime with you. This is where I get to have oodles of fun. I'm back here and nobody comes and knocks on the door. The phone, I don't have to answer it. This is my playtime. So I think I'm going to do one more just because they're so quick and easy, and I'll be fast about it. I'll be fast about it. So let's cut another piece of paper. Again, I'm using the Sizzix Smooth White. It's 60 sheets in a pack. Holy smokes, artichokes. Put down my alignment tool. Put down my paper. Find my stencil number 1. 3, 2, 4, 1. And I think I'm going to do a little bit in the brown. So I'm going to do a little brown. And then if I wanted to, I could add just a little bit of green if it made my heart happy. Lift up, see if I'm happy. I think I'm okay there. I didn't want to add too much of the green. Take it off, pop on stencil number 2. Oh, see, I'm off. Look at that, I'm off. I must have been down. Yep, I'm down here. I was off. See, I didn't start. I thought I started all the way back on the top one. Nope, that's not lining up. I'm down here. And I'll come back in with my brown. Just a little bit of brown, and then maybe just a little bit of green. And I can lift up. Did I go into my black with my brown on my first one? I bet I did. Well, then we're going to go into with a little bit of black on this one too, because I bet I accidentally went into my black. All right, well, I had an oops. Now we're just going to fix it. Looks like I went into my black with my brown. So I'm just going to add a little bit of black to this one just to kind of match it up a little bit, but not too much. I don't want matchy-matchy. All right, there we go. Okay, that works for me. Now we're going to move to stencil number 3, and I think I'm going to go teal. This time I'm going to put the lids on all of my stuff. That would be helpful. And let's see, teal, and my teal brush, and I'm going to go really light with my teal. really light with my teal maybe. Ooh, pretty. Now, do I want to do red? I think I might do red baubles instead of teal. I was going to do teal. So maybe I just darken this up just a little bit. Thought I was going to do teal baubles, but I think I'm going to do red baubles to make it really accent. So I think I'm going to darken my teal. Did you see how easy it was for me to pick it up, look at it, lay it back down, and start stenciling? If you were working with your tape or magnets, you would still be lining up. And then let's go red. I just want to use unusual colors so that you can see there really is no right and no wrong. It all works. And then I'm gonna die cut some of these out. And up. Oh, see, so pretty. So now I've got oodles of them to play with. Let me put the lids on, bring my stencils over. I will clean them up later. I can put my little alignment tool on its little holding place. The two little nibs at the top are meant to hold your alignment tool when you're storing it. I can bring over my lid, pop it right in. Let's go back. Bring over my lid, pop it right in, bam, close it up, and now I can put this away until I'm ready to clean my stencils. So I made oodles of them today. I've got a whole bunch of them going on. And now all we have to do is decide how we want to die cut them. Ooh, I did this one earlier. Yum. Now we just have to decide, ooh, yum, how we want to die cut them. So that's where my triangles come into play. So if I wanted to do the big triangle, I would take it, and you can do it, but you're not going to get the star. So let's find one that doesn't have the star. Here. So the big triangle is going to fit. You are going to have to snip these two pieces out because I needed it to remain a triangle and not a Christmas tree. But with the remainder of the triangles, I mean, look at everything you get in that set, right? With the remainder of the triangles, hello, I can then have a tree this size. Or I can have a tree this size. Or I could line it up over here. Or I could line it up here. Where do I want to make that cut? My triangles are meant to work with this set. My triangles are meant to work with a few of my sets. Look at even the smallest little guy you could take and die cut out. So let's play. Let's take the first one. And we'll die cut out the whole thing. Again, I'm not going to be able to get the star. So I'm going to bring over my Big Shot machine. I'm just going to trim it down so my paper goes through my Big Shot machine. I'm going to bring it right on over, and this is what we're going to be playing with today. So I have got my base platform that comes with the machine. I've got my solo shim that comes with the machine. I've got a cut plate, which when you get it will be beautifully crystal clear, and a do not cut plate. That's also beautifully crystal clear when you get it. I always try just not to cut into one of the plates until this one gets so used and so warped. Then I'll take this one, make this my cut plate, and buy another top plate, another clear plate set to start another do not cut plate. The do not cut plate just allows you to send it through your machine easier. If both your plates are warped, it's a little more work to get it through your machine. Easy, piece of cake, without having to like push it in underneath, and it gives a better cut. So I'm gonna take my paper and I'm going to line my die towards my bottom, towards my stem. I wanna make sure that what I see is what I cut. Sizzix puts their cut edge right on the inside. It's not centered in between the two. Lots of dies have a little bit of a lip and it's more centered. This is right on the edge. So if you see it, if what you see is what you're gonna cut. If I accidentally moved it this way and I saw that white paper, that's what I'm gonna cut. If I moved it here and I saw that white paper, that's what I'm gonna cut. So if I see it, that is what I'm going to cut. Whether it be up higher, lower. If you see white paper, that means you're gonna get white paper in your finished cut. So I think that's pretty good. You may want to tape it down. I'm a girl who flies by the seat of her pants. And I'm gonna send it on through. Oh, and it just moved. It's gonna grab the die, and then I just roll. And this little die that doesn't even have a blade as an edge is going to cut my paper. It's amazing how that happens. So I'm left here. Now, I left you just some simple cuts straight across and down. I didn't want to do a Christmas tree die. I wanted them to be triangles so that you could use them the whole year round. So I just left you some very simple cuts. And then you've got your tree, which fits on an A2 or A6 card. Your largest tree will fit on an A2 or A6 card. But what if we wanted to cut some of the others? What if we wanted a Christmas tree farm? Ooh, maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe I'll do this one. Maybe. Oh, these all have stars on the top of them. Well, I'm gonna let the stars go and pretend that they're not there. Okay, so I'm gonna cut that one. So then I have this one here, and now I have options. I can cut my top piece here, and I can cut a smaller piece there. I have options. I could cut this size tree. I could cut that. I could come all the way down and do there. Let's just start cutting. That's my cut plate. Here's my do not cut plate. So let's take, and I'm gonna do all the way down towards the bottom because I still want the tree. I want the trunk. And I think I want that piece right there. I'm able to move it wherever I want and it's gonna be perfect. Line it up. What do I have a feeling? There we go. Line it up, send it on through. One roll, easy peasy. These are open frame dies. It doesn't take any more than that. And I take my simple cut. Bam. And bam. And now I have a smaller Christmas tree. And I could go even smaller. Gosh, do I want it from the top without the stem? Do I want it from the bottom? Do I want it from the side? Oh, decisions, decisions. All right, let's just cut. Let's do it without the stem. And then I have a tiny little one with the stem. Tiny little guy with the stem. And cut it out. Send it on through. Gosh, one tree, you might be able to get three different size trees out of it without a problem. Oh, that's too much empty space. Not happy with that one. Too much empty space. And I can just start layering all my trees. I think I want this one with, with a stem. So what do I got over here? I've got this one. Okay, let's do this one with the stem. I'm wearing. Well, let's try it there and see what we get. Yes, I did. Okay. Whew. Cut off my little white. I just left a little bit of white just for a little tiny stem. Or trunk it is. I'm sorry, trunk. Shoop. Shoop. Sound effects required. And now I'm building my trees. It's all up to you how you want to do them. You have options. You have so many options. You could do a whole tree farm without any of the trunks, just by cutting up the rectangle or the triangles. You could have a whole tree farm without any of the trunks if that's what you would prefer. And you can cut them from any part of the tree. So now I can start building my little trees without any of the trunks. I still have this one here. I can still get one out of there without any problem. Look at that, fits perfect. I'm using my gotcha tool to hold all of my dies. I'll show you my gotcha tool in just a second. But I can pull this one right out. Nope, moved it. Okay, let's get it up here first and then I'll put it together. Line it on up. Send it on through. Yeah, I think you could use it. You could easily get 3 triangles out of one tree if you wanted to dice them and slice them. Love this set. And then I've got another over there. And I just start to build whatever makes my heart happy. Build my own little Christmas tree forms. Or I leave them whole. And I don't cut into them at all. I leave them just the way they were. And use them just like that. The idea is options. The idea is to give you as much as I possibly could give you in one set. And the Merry Christmas from this one comes on one of those stencils. So we've played with these. And we've stenciled them in colors that maybe you wouldn't think to do. But look at how pretty that teal and that brown and that red is. Love it. Adding a little bit of yellow to my leaves. Love it. There's no right and there's no wrong. It's all about what colors make your heart happy. Maybe you're all about the winter. No right and no wrong. And then the gotcha tool. This is my gotcha tool by Sizzix. It is meant to be able to pick up your dies so you can leave them on your making space as you're using them. And then you can just grab what you need when you need it. Also, if you have misplaced a die, look at how small this little guy is. Bam. Bam. You drop one on the floor, just push that down. It doesn't even have to be on top of it. Can you see? This is like 2 inches away. Bam. And then you just put them right on your making space. And there you go. Gotcha tool is an essentials. It really is. Love the gotcha tool. So today we played with my 4 stencil layering stencil as part of my holiday, my nod to holiday for 2024. And we used my Fanciful Framelits triangles that have the embossing element and the die. These are the 2 sets we played with. Let me show you the triangles really quickly. So here the triangles are as solids with that embossing element, and you can see all the shapes that you get. And then here it is as solids without the embossing element. You get to use it any way you want. Here they are as frames. Yes, you can make frames with them with the embossing element. But then you can make frames without the embossing element. This is why my Fanciful Framelits are so, people just love them because it is option upon option. Look at, we did a letter press with the embossing element. Inked it up, sent it on through. Then we did a letter press and we die cut them. We could do a letter press and make frames out of them. Then we used the embossing element and we foiled. And the foil is beautiful. And then on the black, Look at how good. Think about Christmas trees like this. Yes, please. And, well, there we go. And then we die cut our Christmas trees with our foil. So those are my Fanciful Framelits. And I have several shapes out already. I have ovals and rectangles and top notes and hexagons. I have circles and diamonds, and this is the next set. And then we used the stencil. So I have some samples to show you of the stencil. So here's the stencil, using it as a tree. We backed it. We used the larger die to back it. You've got the sentiment. Here we just used the holly. That's all we used was the holly and the berries from the stencil. That's all we used to make that card. And then here we used it for almost a Thanksgiving festive holiday. And look at, here's the foiling with my Fanciful Framelits. That's from the rectangle. This was all done with my rectangle Fanciful Framelits, and we foiled the edge. And we just kept it very, very, very Thanksgiving-y. Very fall. Here we did our trees. Look at all the sizes and look at all the sizes, some with, some without. And then here we die cut out the main tree and really just jazzed it up. Look at how cute is this, right? Winter in the woodlands. May your days be merry and your hearts be light. Right along the edge, and that comes with it. And then I think that's on one of them. Maybe that's on one of the stamp sets. And then the just easy peasy 1, 2, 3 done. So I am Stacey, and I am a licensed designer for Sizzix, Jacquard, and Couture Creations. We are playing with my Nod to Christmas that launches July 1st. Please take a look under the description of this video and see the retailers that we are featuring for you today. They either carry the Stacey Park product or they'll be bringing it in for this collection. We're so excited. It will be available globally July 1st. And so lots of online stores already have it as a notify me. So you can go visit those online stores and look up the Stacey Park collection and hit notify me. That way when they become available, you're the first to know. I hope you had a good time today. I loved playing. It's just the best day ever. So until next time, I will see you next Tuesday for our next Take Two Tuesday event where I bring you more of my Christmas collection. I think I might use my stamps. I have tree stamps and a stencil to go with it. I think I might do that next week. Ooh, it's gonna be so much fun. Until then, I'm Stacey, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. And again, licensed designer, Sizzix, Couture Creations, Jacquard. I will see you soon. Bye, everybody. Oh, hit like and subscribe. Bye, everybody.